Hi everyone, welcome to July. Now, I have done for quite a while now a little video to say what is coming up in the vote for my Patreon backers. Quick plug, patreon.com/slickerdrips if you'd like a vote and stuff and get videos early in that. But I thought, why not just do a video for everyone? I made a little experiment doing that last month, if you're wondering why I'm saying this again. But to talk about some of the games that might be coming up. It's not a guarantee that this is, the schedule for things to happen, because things change. Time always runs out, doesn't it? And new things crop up and get in the way. But most importantly, games are coming, and some of these are going to. The options that I'm going to talk about are going to be in the vote for backers, but the whole vote is like a nice guide for if something doesn't win but it gets a lot of votes. That's probably one to steer towards. But let's get on to talking about some games, shall we? So first up, we have the return of Project Elite. It's one of the first videos that I ever did. It's in the first 10 for sure, maybe even earlier than that. I ended up doing 3 solo videos for it because it was when it was first on Kickstarter, and I unknowingly went to the UK Games Expo and got an early copy. But nothing to do with the channel, it was just on sale there. You can go back and see them. I think one has got like a picture-in-picture thing. I don't even know how I did that now. But yes, it's back again from Cool Mini or Not, in conjunction with Artipia, and they have completely redone the art style, the rulebook and stuff, the graphic design, and added more elements. I am assuming, there is less in the box, and some of it is kind of, analogous, I think, to the stuff that's in the original game. It's just all been redone, and it's got nice fancy minis and stuff. The solo mode's a little bit different. I think they're all solo videos in the original playthroughs because it's just me playing them, and it's a real-time game, so it's really hard for Glass Marty to do. But if you would like to see more of this, I do have the Adrenaline maps. I never had Project Elite Adrenaline, which was the expansion to the original game. The maps for that are included as an extra, as one of the Kickstarter extras. I don't know how any of that's going to be available later. But basically, do you want to see some more Project Elite? Do you want to see what it looks like now? Do you want to see what's new? I said I was going to make this brief. It never works out, does it? Project Elite. I haven't even said what it is. It's a real-time game where aliens are coming at you and you need to kill them all whilst trying to achieve an objective before they flood the base. That's all I needed to say. Next up, Zamek, which is Carcassone the Castle. A 2-player only version of Carcassone from Ryan Knizia that has been out for a long time, and this is a Polish version of it. And I do have a German copy, I believe, of Carcassone the Castle. And it's a really, really great implementation of, Carcassone works with 2 players, but works better with more. And so there is a nice focus to the castle thing. You are building within castle walls. You don't you don't need to match up the ends of tiles like you do in regular Carcassone, but obviously it's more helpful if you do to build certain areas. But one of the reasons that I kind of noticed this version as it was getting tweeted about is that similarly to Castles of Mad King Ludwig, that got I believe it was a Polish version as well, that's got kind of more fun art. It might not have been as easy to see the elements of the game, but it had a really nice, different art style to it. And this too has got its own funky little art style as well. It's very different if you look at pictures of the original Carcassone the Castle, and it's got little Easter eggs in there, like I think Jon Snow's in there, Geralt from The Witcher is hidden in the tile artwork and stuff. So do you want to see Carcassone the Castle in its new form? Next, this isn't new. This is another really, really old playthrough. I went back to look at the playthrough of this, and it still works as well as a playthrough did, but hopefully I'd like to think that I've improved since then. I didn't realise how long ago it was. This was back in 2016, July, I think. Really near to the start of the channel, was in April 2016. Mystic Vale is a card crafting game there's been other card crafting games now where it's a deck building game, but a lot of your cards start out blank, and there are these clear advancements that get slid into the sleeves, and the cards are in thirds, and you get more and more on a card, and you're trying to score the most points. You get different symbols, and you're trying to get Vale cards and stuff. I've had a kind of an urge to go back to Mystic Vale because we haven't had it for some time. I remember we had the base game and the first expansion. It's back in the days before I did first impressions, so I remember really liking it though. But at some point, maybe it was down to space or something, or we got bored of it. I really can't remember. We got rid of it at some point in the last 4 years, and through an option that you'll see in a minute, I've got a feeling that I want to go back and see, especially to see how far it's come, because there have been games like, Arkham Horror, the card game, where I've criticised them for, the base game was good, but no, I kind of got over it. I don't think it was that way with Mystic Vale. But then in the expansions for something like Arkham Horror, the card game, it's like, wow, they're doing really interesting, new and different things, and I'm sure that has happened with the amount of stuff that has come out for Mystic Vale since. So there was a bundle with this Conclave box, which is crazy big, on the internet, and I just thought, yeah, I'll go for this, and it seems like a good way to get back in and play it again. Would you like to see another Mystic Vale playthrough, an updated one, and show off, expansion stuff? There is, the Conclave stuff in here doesn't come with new advancements, but it does come with dials and stuff and ways of dividing up the advancement cost to give you a more balanced game, because the old way of doing it was just shuffle all of the new cards into the decks, which, it's going to dilute it. The more you're going to do that with expansions, the less likely you are to see as much of the different expansions in there. So these Conclave cards divide it all up into a more balanced thing. The Conclaves are designed by John D. Clare, just like the game. And, I haven't played with all of these things like totems and leaders and all of this stuff. And, if you do want to see some Mystic Vale, try and get some other expansions as well. Maybe we could do some big series for it. Who knows, though? Mystic Vale, do you want to see some? Okay, next we come to kind of the reason that I have been feeling drawn back to Mystic Vale, and I hesitate to turn it over because it will all tip up and go everywhere, I think, inside the box. But this is Edge of Darkness, another crazy. This is as big as Gloomhaven, surely, if not a bit bigger. This is kind of the big board gamey version of Mystic Vale. Takes that core card crafting concept, but we have a communal deck that we draw from instead, and we can take ownership of certain cards to get us points at the end, but also, if someone uses our card, we get a little benefit, and we will get the card next turn. On the back of all of the advancements, it's the same system, the cards are in thirds, and we have clear advancements to put in. On the other side are all enemies that, there's always going to be 3 enemies, trying to get into this city that we are trying to protect. And there is a kind of, not exactly, but kind of an Amerigo cube tower where we have threat cubes relating to each player, and a certain number are dropped through depending on the cards that you drew. And as soon as, in a 2-player game it's 6, but as soon as a certain number of cubes are in a pool for a threat card, that threat card attacks the person who's got the most cubes in there, which often can be everybody, and so you need to use your abilities to defend against that stuff. There are, I think it's 30 in the base game, different locations, and you choose 10 each game. There are loads of kind of chapters for preset things, or you can just randomize it all, and those locations give different advancement cards that are available, but they also let you put workers out, and it's, if you have this many workers in here, you get access to this new action. For every worker here, you can fight one threat that's going to come at you. It will be one strength less, and you combine all of these abilities to try and get through all of the threats, earn the most points, get the nicest cards, and have the loveliest time. I think that's in the rulebook. So yeah, kind of the big heavy brother to Mystic Vale, although not that much heavier now. It's in that huge Conclave box. Edge of Darkness. Want to try? Edge of Darkness is just going to have to stay there. It's too big to lean down and put down. Next up, this is kind of the month of exorbitantly huge boxes. This is Imperial Spells and Steam. I don't want to tip it forward because it will go everywhere, because I haven't put the expansion in to make it all flush with the top yet. This is from Level 99 Games, who have done plenty of things, but I know them from Millennium Blades. I'm kind of hiding, I'm having to peer over this box lid, but to see the nice art, I'll put it there. I wanted to kind of show you up front that this is a cube. This box is an enormous cube. This is like I haven't played it yet, it's only just come, but for a 20-minute per player train game, wow, it's in a huge box. But there you go, you get to see the art of it. So it's set in the same world as, I can't remember the game, Argent the Consortium, isn't it? That's a worker placement game that we've never played. I don't know if it would be one for us. But yeah, this is the kind of start of industrialization in this magic fantasy world, and so it's a route building train game, a kind of pick up and deliver kind of game that is done with special abilities and mana and stuff. That isn't just retheming all of the standard stuff. You have these player boards, and like you might have seen in a lot of games, you can move your pawn a certain number of spaces to get to the action that's there, or you can pay mana crystals to move more spaces, and as the game progresses you'll get more tiles to put in each action slot, and so picking that action slot will get you multiple actions in the same turn, provided you're willing to spend credits and stuff. It's got a beautiful art style. It's the same artist, I believe, Fabio Fontes, as Millennium Blades, which was fantastic in its own right. Look at my playthrough of that. It's a card game where we play players that are playing a trading card game, and it's amazing, and there's nothing like it. This is this. I thought I kind of assumed at first when I saw the box that wow, this is going to be some crazy heavy thing, but apparently there's a ridiculous amount of variability and stuff in it. I'm told, but 20 minutes per player. Wow. Imperial spells in Steam. It's also going to have to sit up there because it's really heavy. Next, Fantastic Factories, which I believe just recently come out in the UK. It was a big Kickstarter game that we played back in GridCon. If you saw my GridCon video, and if you haven't seen my GridCon video, have a look at it. It doesn't really matter if you're not particularly bothered about the convention itself, although you should be. I think it's one of my favourite things, one of my two favourite videos I've ever made. I think it's a laugh. So we played this there, so you might have seen a little bit about it. But it's a dice game where you have a little pool of dice that you roll at the beginning of your turn, and you have different buildings that will take certain dice. You'll get a different benefit depending on the number on the dice, or it will only accept certain dice. And you're basically trying to get production change. You've got a board with base actions where you can research and get more cards, more options of these buildings to build. And you can. I'm trying to remind myself. If you can see, it's sealed. I haven't played it since November. But you're trying to generate resources as well to be able to build these buildings and activate their different abilities, and you're trying to get a nice synergy between this. I really, really enjoyed our one play of it. 7 months ago? But I am really, maybe 8 months. I'm really keen to try it again, and I've heard that the solo mode is really nice as well. It feels like a nice race between you and the AI, so maybe it'll be solo if you vote for it. And finally, I think this is finally, High Rise from Gil Hover, designer of many things, of Bad Medicine, of Wordsy, but the game that's most fondest in my heart is The Networks, the TV magnate game, which I've done several playthroughs for that and the expansion. I think 2 playthroughs. That's several, isn't it? But I did a playthrough for this when it was originally on Kickstarter, when it was in a very raw form where it's kind of, a lot of it was plain text and coloured boxes, and it was basically a print and play prototype that hopefully gave you a good job of what the game would be like. But now it's in its final full art, beautiful version, and it's a game where it's a time track game where there's a great big circle of action spaces. Player in last place goes to the next action and moves however far they like, and if you only move in little bits, you might get loads of turns in a row. And we are trying to build these skyscrapers. You're trying to build them on the action spots that will give you an advantage, whether it's just a one-off thing or ongoing abilities. A big key element in the game is corruption as well. A lot of the things that you can do, you either will make you take corruption, or you can have a more powerful effect if you take on a little bit of corruption, and that's all very well and good, but the more that you get, it starts to really add up. It starts to snowball the penalty to your points at the end of the game, especially if you are much more corrupt than the other players. Again, there is another playthrough for this originally, but it's got a solo mode as well, so which wasn't in the prototype, so maybe you'd want to see how the solo mode works as well. But this has just come today as well. Most of them have just come today or in the last day. It's lucky because I wanted to do this right at the start of the month. But I am incredibly keen to, the same as all of these, I'm so keen to play them for the first time or play them some more and get back to these games that I have just played briefly before. But I hope that you are excited buy some of these. If you're seeing this in the context of voting for them, you can vote for as many as you like, and the kind of ranking of them matters as much as the one that wins. The one that wins is guaranteed to get filmed, whereas everything else is just cross your fingers. And I want to do other stuff this month as well. I know other things that almost won in previous months, like Mage Knight. I would love to do a Mage Knight playthrough this month. Maybe get a chance soon to do that. I would really like to do Horrified as well. Horrified it's not behind me there, is it? It's behind me on that side. It's one that we got last summer and really, really enjoyed, but things just happen and time gets away from you. But hopefully, I'm taking hold of it again, and we can cross our fingers and hope that more and more stuff is going to happen. But yes, it all happens thanks to your support, thanks to you that watch and subscribe and stuff, and the backers on Patreon. So that's pretty much it. Oh, Empires to the North, I'd mentioned in the playthrough. I did, the standard 2-player playthrough. I want to go back and show off the solo mode, which is great. But an opportunity to do that is that I've got the Japanese Islands expansion, so I'm going to do the solo with one of those factions. Which of the two should I do? Which is your favourite if you've got it? But I think that's pretty much it. Other than, how are things your end? Is the lockdown kind of winding down where you are? Should it be is a whole nother question. But how are things working out? What are you playing? Are you still playing on Tabletop Simulator and stuff? Look at my shirt. I really like this shirt. This only came today as well. I've never had David Bowie on a shirt, but here he is from Fire Walk With Me. We do live inside a dream. The album this month, I've decided to change it. Maybe, if you're a real Uber fan, you can spot which month I filmed things in. This is Hello Young Lovers by Sparks. I mentioned them when I did a video about music that I know hasn't come out on the main channel yet, about how much I really love Sparks. And this album in particular, this is when I was really getting into music, and probably when I first had a record player, about 2006. And it's one of their modern albums. It would be if it came out in 2006, wouldn't it? But I think it's absolutely fantastic and definitely worth checking out. Songs like Perfume and Metaphor and Waterproof and Dick Around, especially, that is fantastic, but it's just full of great songs. Anyway, I'm just going to ramble on forever if you don't turn this video off. Well, not really. You can see, can't you? You can see the progress of the bar at the bottom and know that that's not true. It's about to end any second.